In the modern age of streaming services like Spotify, music has become more abundant ever than before. With this constant entanglement of auditory information, how do you know which parts are the best? Well,
in order to make a great song, three components are needed: the simplicity, the influence from others, and the groove. While the concept of jazz may be stereotyped by complex rhythms and huge and intertwined chords with huge collaborations of many people, it does not have to be that way. One of the most coveted stride piano artists and a very prolific Harlem Renaissance figure employs many instances of using simplistic rhythms and chords to make a song more direct to the listeners. This concept can be found in many of his songs, but the best example is The Echo of Spring. The moving line here moves the song forward while also being very simple and remarkably easy to play. Its simplicity almost invites the listener to come up with creative ideas of what could pair with it melodically wise before the melody comes, which is also remarkably simple. This melody, like the moving line previous to it, drives the music forward and creates a story while also still remaining simplistic. Another very important band that uses the bare aspects or the simplicity in its songs were Count Basie, who would often strip down their songs to make it easier for a player to improv on while making something simple and stable for the listeners to digest. At the time, the Basie band defined bluesy swing, exhibiting a simplicity that the Basie biographer Albert Murray describes as a stripped down to fundamentals. Edison wove the principle of Basie economy into his own style and emerged with something unique. In this section of the article, the author describes how the bassist Harry Edison used the advantageous, simple stylings of the early Count Basie in order to improve his own skills and make something more out of it.
In order to make a great song, artists have to glean elements from other artists in the process of making it. Leve, for example, is an artist who uses a mixture of elements from several genres in her songs that are unique to her upbringing and experiences. In Billboard's article, Leve says, "I wanted to make something that sounded more like me. I wanted to fuse jazz and classical into my own music." You can hear examples of this throughout her songs.
This is just one of the references that Leve channels. She's very fond of Chet Baker, the trumpet player and singer, who is known for his understated and yet immensely evocative vocal style.
Until you flipped your heart and you have lost power.
She loves incorporating Chet Baker licks, specifically the bebop vocabulary that he uses during his scat solos. Compare the vocal improvisation from Chet Baker's Do It the Hard Way to Leve's solo break on From the Start. It's a little different, but you can hear some of the same things, like the arpeggiation to the flat 9 on the B flat 7, and that 16th note articulation, the turn. But I mean, let's zoom back. That's B.
Mixing techniques and harmonies reminiscent of other great artists allow her song to feel nostalgic, but not like a duplicate of those songs. This allows the listener to hear something new yet familiar, making the song appeal to many people. Throughout an artist's life, they will come into contact with many different types of music, which will shape the type of music they create. Using components of songs that they grew up on makes their music more true to themselves. And when an artist is true to themselves, the listener will be more inclined to connect or relate to them. The artist's connection with the music will seep into the song in some way, and the listener will unconsciously pick up on those feelings and relate to them. Another place for artists to take inspiration from is other people. For example, Norah Jones collaborated with many people when making the song Daybreaks.
Whenever I go in to record with other musicians, I try to be pretty open because I think whenever something happens naturally, and somebody puts their own thing into it and it feels so good, that's something you can't plan for, and it's good to be open to that.
Throughout this interview, Norah Jones recounts the way that the song changed through production, with new people being added to help create it. This took the song through multiple stages that it would have never been through if it hadn't been for the group's effort. Collaborators on a song can also provide feedback and suggest changes that the original artist wouldn't have thought of. Different artists will have different outlooks on a song based on their experiences. All of those artists' experiences combine to make a song that will be able to appeal to a wider audience of people.
I have to pay you back, don't I?
Groove, being one of the most critical components of making a good song, finds itself in the most prominent songs of not only the jazz genre, but in songs of many genres. There are many different definitions, but groove is essentially the feel of a song. In jazz specifically, groove is often felt as the quality of persistently repeated rhythmic units created by the interaction of the music played by a band's rhythm section. For example, drums, electric bass or double bass, guitar, and keyboards. In Tank by Seatbelts, you can hear the groove in the guitar and rhythm section. It isn't there the entire time, but if you listen carefully, that rhythm or something very similar is present for most of the song. Even if you can't read music, you can see and hear that this is a lot of the same thing over and over again. This gives the song a sense of stability, even when fast, loud, and chaotic notes and rhythms are put on top of it. The listener is able to follow along with that groove and won't get lost in the music. The groove also helps set the mood for the song. In the song Rush by Seatbelts, the groove is in the guitar and drums. The song is swung, meaning that the eighth notes are irregular. You can see an example of this in the drum cover of the song if you look at the top cymbal and focus on the rhythm he's playing. The drummer is playing a constant swing rhythm. In some of the more chaotic sections of the song, the drummer will play straight eighth notes or slightly different rhythms, contrasting with the rest of the band, who continues to play a swing rhythm, making the music seem more chaotic or rushed, as its name suggests. Details like these can enhance the listener's experience and allow the song to convey emotions or stories in many ways other than just using lyrics.
These three elements, simplicity, influence from other artists, and groove, combine to make an enjoyable song that will engage the listeners and allow them to connect with the music. Thanks for watching. Bye. Here's a Works Cited.